Hello, children. Good morning to one and all. So, in the last class, we have learnt some lot of things about agriculture and how the agriculture is playing very important role in day-to-day life. So, in the today's class, I'm going to take a new chapter, which is very important chapter for CBSE exam. It is totally about the nationalism in our country, how our country got independence. So let us start today's class. So welcome to the today's session. So today we are going to discuss a topic about nationalism in India. Okay, so these are the important concepts what we are learning at present in this chapter. First about First World War, then the idea of Satyagraha, Jallianwala Bagh incident, Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement, how the non-cooperation movement came to an end, how the middle class people, how the industrialists, women's, and the common people contributed much lot for the non-cooperation movement. About that, Simon Commission, Civil Disobedience Movement, the three round table conference which took place in the London. After that, once again he relaunched the civil disobedience movement. So for this civil disobedience movement, some limitations were being there. So what were their limitations? Why the limitations were being made? Next one, the collective belongings to spread the nationalism among the people in our country. So these are the important topics what we are going to learn in the nationalism in India. So in the 8th standard, when you were studying in the 8th standard as well as in the last classes, you have learnt about nationalism, the word nationalism, how the concept of nationalism came into existence in our society. So the freedom fighters as well as uh, those who want a free administration, independent administration, so those people revolt against the present government which was present in our India. So one question will be raised in your mind: how the Britishers came to our country, in which period? So you have already learned about that one. So for just a glance, I'm going to tell about how the Europeans were being came to our country, who was the first person, and when the Britishers came to our country, which period, which king was ruling at that time, each and everything I'm going to tell in this introduction part. Okay. So, Britishers they came to our country in the year 1600. So, after the discovery of sea route to our country, the Portuguese were the first person to do the trading and um, economic activities with our country. Okay, so before that, you have to come to know about why the sea routes were being discovered to our country. Okay, before, through the land route only, the each and every commodity were been exported to the other part of the world as well as other part of the countries like Roman, Paris, London, as well as in America. We were exporting the spices as well as important products which were producing in our country. So why the new sea routes were being discovered? Okay, so the reason behind is, in the western part of our country, one place is there called Constantinople. So in that place, the Ottoman Turks they occupied that area, and it was a main route for the western countries and the eastern countries. It was one of the gate for them. So when Ottoman Turks attacked on that area in 1457, uh, during that term only, the Constantinople was being captured by the Ottoman Turks. Ottoman Turks, to enjoy more and more what we will tell, more and more profit in the economic condition, to become very powerful in the economic activity, what they did, the route which was connecting the eastern countries and the western countries, they put an barricade. um, they have to pay, the western parts of the country traders, they have to pay heavy tax, and then they have to go towards the Asian countries, and the Asian country merchants and the traders, if they want to do the exporting business in the uh, other part of the world, they have to um, give the heavy taxes there. So both the side, uh, that is western and eastern side, they were having a little bit problem with that policy. So what they did, Europeans, the European kings, they started encouraging the people, those were doing exploration, discovery of new things. So they started investing on those concepts there. So as a result, Christopher Columbus, he discovered the sea route for America, and Vasco da Gama, he discovered the sea route for our country. Um, During that term only, in 14, in the 15th century, as well as in the 15th century only, the Constantinople was being declined. The place Constantinople was being captured by the Ottoman Turks in the 15th century. So Vasco da Gama, when he founded the sea route for our country, each and every Europeans like Dutch, Portuguese, French, and Britishers, they started doing the trading, because in the Western countries our products were having highly demand. Our spices were very was having very good quality, and it was not available in those countries there. So due to the rise in the demand in these such products which were producing in our country, so they started finding the sea routes for our country. Even Christopher Columbus, his main aim was to discover the sea route for India. By accidentally, he discovered the sea route for America there. So Vasco da Gama, through the Cape of Good Hope in the South Africa, he reached the India, Calicut, in the 15th century. After that, the Portuguese slowly started trading with the southern part of our countries, in the in our country there. So slowly in 1600, the Britishers, they took the permission from the Mughal rulers. During that time, the Mughal rulers were been ruling. So slowly they took the permission to do the trading, and they were getting the some facilities to do the import and export business there. So after that, slowly the Britishers started interfering in our matters. So as a result, the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. So these two were the important, where we will see the British supremacy led the foundation, and they started ruling our country from these two battles there. So afterwards, slowly, gradually, they started by imposing some of the laws, like a subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance is nothing but, if the Britishers, if the Indian kings are agree that we want help from the Britishers, means they have to appoint the soldiers which were being appointed by the Britishers only. ಸಬ್ಸಿಡರಿ ಅಲೈನ್ಸ್, ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಸಹಾಯಕ ಸೈನ್ಯ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ರಾಜ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಏನಂತೀವಿ, ಟ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಆರ್ಮಿನೇ ಅವನು ತನ್ನ ಆಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವೇ it was been introduced by the Lord Wellesley. Afterwards, the Lord Dalhousie came as the Governor General for our country. So introduced to occupy little bit more and more places in our country, to settle down their um, supremacy in our country very powerfully. So Dalhousie, he introduced the doctrine of lapse. According to the doctrine of lapse, no king, if they are not having any kind of son after his death, so that kind of regions will come under the control of, directly it will be come under the control of Britishers. So in this way, many places were being captured, and illegally also the Britishers started enhancing their power in the other parts of the country. So as a result, in 1857, one revolt took place, that is the first war of independence, under the leadership of Tantia Tope, Mangal Pandey, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, many more kings. They fought against the British administration. By that time, already the hundred years was been completed during that term only. Okay, in 1757, they led their foundation. So in 1857, the 100 years was been completed by occupying our country, and they started administrating our country also. Many of the kings came under the control of Britishers, and they agreed to do the all kind of activities under their control. So in 1857, people started revolting against them. You have already learnt about 1857 revolt, the first war of independence. So under that, many leaders like Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai, Tantia Tope, Nana Saheb, as well as Mughal ruler, they fought against the Britishers. So due to the scarcity, unity was not there among the people. So as a result, 1857 revolt was been failure there. So after that, we will see the slowly the nationalism was been spreading among the people. The people did not sit any. They did not sat any quiet there. They started revolting very slowly and gradually. It was not in a more percentage, it was in a less percentage. Most of the people secretly they were spreading the nationalism among the people. So in this chapter we are going to learn about modern nationalism. So we have talked already about 1857. It was a spirit which gave a birth for other nationalist activities as well as movement which took place afterwards in our country. So 1857 led the foundation for revolt against the Britishers. So many of the people they were forming their secret societies. They secretly they were doing their nationalism activities against the Britishers. There, strikes were being there, bans were being there. Everything they were doing according to their power and according to their organization. So in this chapter, so this is all about. A background how the Britishers they came to our country and how they led the foundation of administration in our country there. So after the battle of Buxar and battle of Plassey only, the Britishers they established their administration in our country there. Okay, so this is all about the how the nationalism started spreading among the people. So in this chapter, at present, for the year 10 standard, the modern nationalism in Europe came associated uh, with the formation of nation states. State. You have already learned in the first chapter in the 18th and 19th century how the nationalism was being spreaded among the Europeans and how they formed their own nation state, which was having their own common identity, common culture, common tradition, and one administration there. So this kind of concept was been introduced in the modern nationalism. So not only it was been influenced in the India, in the Europe, but it also influenced in the some other part of the countries, that too in India, South Africa, and in China. So in those places we will see the rise of nationalism when the Europeans, the modern concept of nationalism was been spreading among the people. New symbols, new icons, new songs were being emerged, new ideas were being emerged among the nationalism. Uh, Ideas emerged nationalism among the people, and it took a little bit long process in some other countries there. So how about India? At which stage the nationalism was being took a lead, a faster lead to our country, when that what we will tell when that mindset was being once again put in the minds of the people against the Britishers. In this way, some questions will be raised in your mind. So answer is nothing but the nationalism was raised in 1857 onwards only. Slowly it was in emerging among the people. So when Gandhiji came back to our country, he saw the situation, how the Britishers were been ruling, how we people were been treating uh, with the Britishers. So as a result, under his leadership, the nationalism took a very high level there. Okay, so the nationalism as well as the independence of our country, we will learn into three phases there. First phase is about 1857. Second phase is about moderates and the extremist. Moderate means some of the people they wanted to show their revolt against the Britishers by standing in the what we will tell in the elections and becoming the members of the parliament during that time. So in this way they started, and in a peacefully they wanted to take the independence. So the reversed face of that one was extremist, so they wanted the violence. Without killing the britishers, without threatening the britishers, we will not get any kind of independence. In such kind of thinking were been there. So modernist and extremist, they were having their own organizations, and they were leading the nationalism among the people. So when Gandhiji came back to our country, he launched several movements, uh, where he united the people and led a national movement against the Britishers there. Okay, so in this way, this is the third phase we call in the name of Gandhian era. So under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi ji, in this chapter, you are going to learn how we got the independence there. First phase was 1857. Second phase was extremist and the modernist, where they were having different opinion regarding the national movement. So the third one, Gandhi ji, he united the people, and then he led a uh, national movement against the Britishers there. So he became the leadership. He took under his leadership only the nationalism movement was being started in our country. So a little introduction I like to give to you people about Mahatma Gandhi ji. Mahatma Gandhi ji, he was born on October 2, 1869. His full name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. His father name is Karamchand Gandhi and mother name is Putali Bai. So Gandhiji went to the South Africa for the practice of law because he finished his degree there. So he wanted to do practice in South Africa. So he went to the South Africa. So there one incident took place while Gandhiji was traveling in the train. Because he is a black and he belonged to the Indian in the South Africa, you have already learnt about racial discrimination. So in Haribari, what he did, he step in where the white people were used to sit, and that compartment was belonging to the white persons only. So due to the some urgency, he went in that compartment. So very brutally, very cruelly, the white people, uh, they they treated the Mahatma Gandhiji, and in the next station they threw him out. So by seeing this, he felt very bad, and there only he started some national movement where he can eradicate the racial discrimination among the people. So in this way, he started nationalist movement in the South Africa also, and afterwards it was been led by the Nelson Mandela. So in 1915, the in the month of January, Gandhiji came back to India, and he saw the same situation there. Each and every people were been suffering from the Britishers administration. People were fed up of British administration. So what they did means, he started gathering the people, and he started some important movements in our country. So in this chapter, we are going to study about non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement. We will explore how the Congress, they gave their support to the Mahatma Gandhi ji, and they led one national movement, and they united the people under the leadership of this party. How this Congress political party came into contact with Gandhiji in the development of national movement among the people, and how the different social group participated in the movement. So in this chapter we are going to learn still some other concepts there. So this is all about little introduction about nationalism, which was been spreading in our country after 1857 revolt. Okay, so the first one is the First World War, Khilafat movement, and non-cooperation movement. So, First World War. Why the First World War we are discussing here? What is the reason behind? Is there any reason? Yes, the strong reason is there behind why we are going to learn about First World War there. So, we have already learned from 1914 to 1919, the First World War took place in the world. So, even uh, our Indians, they participated the First World War as a representatives of Britishers in the uh, World War there. So uh, in after 1919, after the First World War, we will see the national movement was been spreading in the new areas. Okay, it was been a concentrated areas. Now after 1919 it was been spreading. Why it was spreading in a new areas means the people those were participated in the World War. They came to know about the French Revolution, Russian Revolution, American Revolution, how they fought against the Britishers, how they gained their independence, and how their own administration was being started, and whatever theory like divisions of power as well as the social contract which is based on equality and everything else, those concepts were very much influenced on our Indian people there. So when they came back to their motherland after the war, they started spreading this kind of concept among the people. So as a result, the people in the new areas, we will see the national movement was being developed there, incorporating new social group. They were also joining the national movement among the people. So during the First World War, the war created an new economic forum as a political situation. So to after the First World War, to repay the loan, whatever loan it was been, the Britishers took loan from the US bank. The US bank, due to the economic depression, they could not repay the loan very quickly and fastly. So as a result, what they did, to adjust the expenditure what they spent in the war, they started rising their taxes, custom duties, and income tax was being introduced where the people has to pay lot of money on that one. So due to this kind of new uh, administrative reforms in India, the people suffered very extreme hardship in the economy. Even though they were not having any kind of single penny because of drought, because of national natural calamities, the people were been suffering at that period also. And due to the economic depression, they were not able to uh, feed their family, as well as they were not able to uh, stable their economic condition. During that time, Britishers, what they did, they imposed new administrative reforms by increasing the taxation there. They increased the tax, they increased the custom duties, whatever commodities they were exporting in the some other part of the world, they have to pay the custom duties there. They have to pay certain amount. It was been increased. So the merchant traders, they were suffering very lot. Income tax were being introduced so that they can take more and more taxes from the people. So due to this, many villagers, they suffered very lot because agriculture was being collapsed during that time. Economic depression was been there. So even though the economic depression was been there, the Britishers, they introduced the such reforms in the administration, and they wanted to take more and more money to balance their expenditure there. And also, um, during the before the First World War, to show their power, the villagers were called upon the supply of soldiers there forcibly. If in a family 2 to 3 members are there, means among those 2 members should participate in the war. Forcibly they have to, they were recruiting the soldiers in during the period of First World War in the rural areas. So it caused widespread anger. The people started revolting against the Britishers there. Why we have to participate? Why? What is the reason behind? We are not having any kind of training regarding this war and everything else. Forcibly, they were recruiting to supply the soldiers for the First World War. So these are the basic ideas where the nationalism, the freedom fighters, whoever were there in our country, they started raising voice against this reformation as well as this kind of recruitment which was took place during the First World War. So in 1989, 1919, and 1920 and 21, due to the crop failed in the many parts of India, and acute shortage of food was being arised. So people, they were not having any kind of food shortage was been there. Economic condition was not good because of economic depression. Each and every country after the First World War, they were suffering from economic collapse there, because they were not having any kind of single money to invest in any kind of new production there. At present, if you take at present situation due to the pandemic, coronavirus. Totally, the economic imbalance is there, and totally world economy has been collapsed. So same situation was present in the First World War. People were suffering to invest money in the new things there. So during that time only, forced recruitment was being done by the Britishers. Forcibly, the soldiers were being supplied to the World War, and new kind of administrative reforms were being introduced by increasing the taxation, by increasing the custom duties, income tax were being introduced. How the common people they were able to pay income tax monthly as well as annually to the government, it will be very heavy enough for them, and it will be very what uncomfortable situation will be there, where they were not having any kind of single penny, and they have to pay a lot of money. So you just imagine how the situation should be there, how the situation will be there, whether the people are able to do. No, the people are suffering already, they are suffering from economic collapse. Then how they will pay the income as well as the tax which were being increased there. So as a result, this led a foundation for national movement in the to spread the national movement among the people in the new areas. They started revolt against the foreign ruler. The people, they came to know, if we sit quiet at present also, our future generation people will also suffer very lot under the administration of Britishers. So as a result, many of the people, common people, freedom fighters, political leaders, they started rising voice against the foreign rule. So the First World War led a foundation in the spreading of national movement in the new areas. So this is the reason behind. And in the world uh, international field also, in the international level also, the Britishers, whatever glory was been there before the First World War, after the First World War they started losing their glory. So people, they came to know about new concept, new ideas, which was the concept of nationalism, which was spreading in the Europe continent. When they came back to their motherland, whatever knowledge they earned there, they started implementing for national movement there. Even Gandhiji, the soldiers, those who were participated in the First World War, when they came back to their motherland, they led a national movement in our country. So in the next session, I'm going to discuss about the Satyagraha, the idea of Satyagraha under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi ji, how he emphasized the power of truth and non-violence. These two became the weapon for the Mahatma Gandhi ji to lead a national movement among the people. And about Rowlatt Act, the Rowlatt Act, it is an one act which was introduced by the Britishers, and under that act only one brutal masquerade as well as one incident took place in our country called Jallianwala Bagh. We are going to learn this kind of incident in the next session. So this is an introduction part, how the nationalism started spreading among the people in the new areas, how the people started gathering the people, uniting the people under the concept which was like liberty, fraternity, as well as equality, which were learnt in the Europe continent. They started introducing in our country. The people came to know about French Revolution, about American Revolution, about Russian Revolution. Each and every new concept, new ideas were being adopted to launch national movement in our country. So in the next sessions, I am going to tell about the idea of Satyagraha, about Jallianwala Bagh massacre. These are the important, because for 3 marks and 5 marks compulsory, this chapter is compulsory. 100% this chapter is compulsory for you people. So don't neglect this chapter. It is a very interesting chapter. So with the help of certain videos and by explanation, I am going to finish this chapter. So if you are having any kind of doubt, just pin your question in the group, so that it will be very helpful for me to sort out your uh, problem. So signing out, have a great day. Bye everyone.